Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are doing well. Let's talk about our today's topic. Today I'm going to talk about our question number 1. Paper 1, that is your reading paper, and in that paper we have 3 questions. Question number 1 is comprehension task. Now let's have a look here. Question number 1 is comprehension task. Question number 2 is use of language task. Question number 3 is summary task 3A, and question number 3B is short response. Now in this video I'm going to talk about first part, question number 1, that is comprehension task. In my previous video we discussed that there are 2 reading objectives that we have to keep in our mind while writing the answers of this question. In this question, in this text, in this section, we have 16 points and there are only 2 reading objectives. First one is to show the understanding of explicit meanings, and second one is to show understanding of implicit meanings. Now you must be very clear about these things, that explicit means the answer is clearly written there in the text, and implicit means that the answer is written between the lines. It is not clearly mentioned. You have to read, you have to infer the meaning, and you have to write the answer in your own words. Now let's have a look at the text that we have today, and then my focus is going to be on the question paper only. I'm not going to discuss the answers. I'm going to talk about what kind of questions you must expect and what kind of question you are going to have in your paper. Now as you can see, this is our text, nameless, and this text is, I think it almost has more than 60 lines. Yes, so one thing that we can see, this is specimen paper, so one thing that we can see from here is that you are going to have longer text this time. Previously we used to have, in according to the previous pattern, previous format, we used to have text that have 45 lines and mostly 6 or 7 paragraphs. But now in, I think last year October November paper, we had, I think, 12 paragraphs. So you must have this in your mind, that when you are going to have this kind of text, you need to read this text once, so you have a complete idea that what actually is mentioned there in the text and what is actually the writer trying to tell us. So you have the idea about the story of the text. That will be helpful while answering the questions. Now read text A and answer question 1 and question 2 on the question paper. Now before starting, there's one more important thing and I want you to tell, and that is the context that is mentioned before the starting of the paragraph. This is called the context, that is written in a different font, that is in italic. Mo and Merwood have finally found nameless. They had been, this is the context of the text. You must read the context before attempting your answer. That this context will make you clear about the text. You will be able to answer the questions clearly. Had been, now they had been looking for this large redwood tree that no one had ever attempted to climb before. Redwood trees can live for more than 2,000 years and are the world's tallest living trees. This is the context of this whole text. After that, the text starts here. Mo and Merwood. It starts here. Now, let's have a look at the question paper. Question number 1. Question number 1. In question number 1, you are going to have A to H 8, or I must say 9 questions. See, question number 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G has 2 parts, 1 and 2, and then H. So basically in total there are 9 questions, or if we just say A to H, there are 8 questions. G part has 2 parts. Now look at question number 1. We are just going to ascertain that whether which question is explicit, and which question requires implicit understanding. In this video, we are just going to talk about understanding of the question, how you are going to make it clear for yourself that here this question requires implicit understanding and this question requires explicit understanding. So look at the question number 1. In what way? What? If your question has this word what, that means this requires explicit understanding. In what way is the structure of redwood trees the opposite of most trees? You will just go back to the lines, the word written, what is written there, and it must be mentioned in the text. I'm not going to discuss the question answers right now. We are just going to talk about the question. So in what way? That is an explicit question. Using your own words. When the question starts with the word using your own words, explain. You have the word explain here, that tells that this question demands implicit understanding. That means this is not clearly mentioned there in the text. You need to understand it. But even if it is clearly mentioned there, you have to write that in your own words. You are not supposed to, because you have been asked to explain, you are not going to copy the answer, copy the sentences from the text. You have to write it in your own words. If you copy the words of the text, sentences of the text, you are not going to get marks. So using your own words, you are supposed to write the answer in your own words. See now, give 2 features. It starts with the word give. That means it requires explicit understanding. That means go back to the text, read, take out the information, extract it from there and copy it here. That is the requirement of this question. Give 2 details. Give. It starts with the word give. That means it requires explicit understanding. Go back to the text, take out the information and you can copy that information here. You can write that in your own words. That depends upon you. Explain what Mo is thinking. Now it starts with the word explain. You will go back to the text. You will read that part as line number 22 is given. And you have to infer the answer. You have to make up the answer yourself after understanding that part of the text. This is explain. So that is a question that requires implicit understanding. Implicit. Okay. Then F. How does Mo feel about trying to climb nameless? How does? That word how does tells us that this question demands implicit understanding. The answer is not clearly written and that is about this question. This question is about feelings. All the feeling question, the question that has word feeling in it, that requires implicit understanding. How does Mo feel about trying to climb nameless? You will write that answer in your own words and that requires implicit understanding. Give 2 details. Now, second part of this question has 3 marks. Now, this second part of your question that requires explicit understanding, there, give 2 details from the text to support your answer. You will write the feeling in your own words. See, he is excited about the idea. This line must be in your own words. And the 2 details, that it's the second part of the question, that also has 2 marks. This question has 3 marks in total. Feeling part will be written in your own words. And give 2 details part, you can just copy it from the text and paste it here. Then G. During his climb, Mo discovered a problem which he had not seen when he was on the ground. What was the problem? So this is a kind of a question. From the word what, we can understand that this problem is mentioned there in the text, but maybe it might be the case that the problem in the specific words is not written there. You will go back to the text, read that and find out that if the problem is written there, take it out and write it here. If not written there, infer the meaning, understand the text, and then write this in your own words and write it as clearly as possible. There's no need to write the stories. There's no need to write, take things from the text. Just write it in your own words and very targeted and to the point answer. What is the problem? So give them the problem that is mentioned there. What did Mo decide to solve the problem? Now this question also, you will go back to the text. It starts with the word what. That means it is mentioned there what actually he did. Take out your answer and write it here. Now the last part, explain. It starts with the word explain. That means this question requires implicit understanding. Explain using your own words. Previously we had a question that has this using your own word, that has this feeling question. There you had to write one feeling and two details. In this question you have three feelings, three details. Explain using your own words Merwood's different feelings about Mo climbing nameless. Give three details. First part, that is explain using your own words, that is question that requires implicit understanding. That means you will write three different feelings with three different adjectives in your own words, right? Then you will provide one evidence of each feeling. If you have written that the person was happy, you will provide evidence to that happiness. If you are right now second and three different feelings, it cannot be the case that you in first line you are writing that he was happy and the next line you are writing he was delighted. No, you have to describe three different feelings. So, and what is the question? Give three details from anywhere in the text. So here sometimes they give you the question that question is regarding one specific paragraph, so you have to find the feelings from there. Sometimes it is about the whole text, so it really depends upon the question that whether it is about one specific paragraph or it is about the whole text. If that is about one paragraph, that means those feelings are mentioned there. You just have to take them out and write them in your own words. Remember, if you copy the feeling, you won't get marks. All the questions that require explanation or that demand writing the answer in your own words, you won't get marks if you copy the sentences from the text. You will write the feeling in your own words, and then when you are going to provide the detail, you can just copy. Rather, I must say that you should copy the sentences, you should copy the detail and write that in front of the answer. That is all about first part, that is comprehension part. My focus was not the answers. We are going to discuss the answers again. The focus was just the questions, what kind of questions you are going to have and how you should answer those questions.